A few weeks ago, I unveiled my newest crazy purchase, this 2004 Bentley Continental GT, which came from a wholesale auction. The odometer was showing only 47,000 miles with a clean Carfax that corroborated, and I bought it for only $27,000, making it the cheapest running clean title Connie GT sold in the USA. It arrived with a bunch of problems, but the real mystery was figuring out the 10-year gap in the history report. The Carfax shows the car was exported to Finland in 2007, then was back in the United States at the end of 2016. I had a wild theory that my car had made its way to Russia, as Finland shares a border with them, but I was mostly joking around and had no evidence to back my claim. Turns out I was 100% correct, and I now know a lot more on my car's history. Things I honestly wish that I didn't know. I sent my VIN number off to some viewers local to Finland and Russia, where both countries are very open with registration and ownership records, and Russia in particular lists names and addresses of previous owners. A quick search yielded this photo of my car taken last year when it was sold with 120,000 kilometers on it for about 30 grand. That's about 74,000 miles. You can see it's the same car with the missing wheel caps and the funky snow tires. This means my odometer was indeed rolled back at some point. But the story gets worse. There are records of 6 owners during this car's decade spent driving gentle Russian highway miles. There was also another photo of my car driving around, probably in Moscow, based on the license plate. I am told that my car was confiscated. The literal translation was confiscated and resold by the government 5 times. This probably means it was repossessed due to non-payment, but it doesn't take much imagination to come up with other theories. Apparently, odometer reporting wasn't done in Russia until recently, and I'm told that it was started because of widespread odometer fraud. Apparently, it's perfectly acceptable in Russia to roll back an odometer right before you sell a car to get more money. So, who really knows if this happened more than twice with my Bentley? Since Russia is also famous for hacking, I'm sure it's not too hard for them to reprogram odometers in this Volkswagen product, like to whatever they want. They could probably get the odometer to do a little dance number if they really wanted to. I'm also told it was very common to export cars out of the USA to Russia about 10 years ago when everybody was making a fortune in the oil business. And it saved tons of money in import and registration taxes to have the car first registered in Finland before bringing it across the border to Russia. Now that the economy is struggling in Russia, these high-end cars are being sold off way cheap. Cheap enough that some of them are being brought back to the United States. It seems once my car was brought back, someone decided to clock my odometer to a nice low number, but not too low so it still lines up with the Carfax. Of course, Russia isn't known for having very good roads or drivers, and I imagine my Connie GT hasn't seen a Bentley certified shop since Facebook was launched to the public. Astute viewers also pointed out that my bumpers were replaced at some point with a European-style one without side markers. But I'm really lucky this car doesn't seem like it was in any kind of major accident. So things could be worse, and that's pretty good news. And I'm told the Car Wizard has even more good news for me on my electrical system. Before, my trunk wouldn't pop and my fuel release door didn't work, and sometimes my windows would just do whatever the heck that they wanted. So, Wizard, what's up?
Well, I did some diagnosing and looking into here why your trunk wouldn't pop and why your fuel door wouldn't work, and I found that the window switch assembly here was bad, and that's really all it was. And so I replaced it with a rebuilt unit, and it got everything working. The windows work, the trunk works, and the fuel door. So you want me to go ahead and give it a shot?
Ew, would you look at that? Clean, and look what you're doing. Look where the camera is.
Oh, I didn't know there was.
Now that the trunk's finally open, I can show you the ridiculous spare tire that Bentleys have. It's orange and so embarrassing you would never ever want to drive on it. You would just have it towed. And looks like you got a little roadside assistance bag here.
Maybe a
too.
first aid kit.
Yeah. Huh. Well, is it sugar?
That might be the different kind of medication I wasn't thinking about. I don't know what that is.
Oh, whoa, awesome.
Oh my god.
I think you'd need this on the road in Russia.
I think that's the opposite of a first aid kit.
It's like cool country western. Sure, you won't like them.
I think that you've had enough fun with that, Hoovie.
Hey.
You don't need to play with guns. Guns are not for kids.
And I guess you have more good news for me because you don't need to drop the motor to fix the vacuum lines that's making my whole car run like doodah.
That's right. In fact, I don't think this would do us any good either. I'll put that in here to do. What I'm going to do is I can pull the steering rack out all the way out of the wheel well, and I can reach into the bell housing and repair all the damaged vacuum lines that way.
So, really, no big deal, huh?
No? How much have that you've been snorting lately?
I don't know. Tastes like flour. Hey, Dino, can you sniff out the car for me? If there's any illegal substances, I'd like you to go sniff it out. Dino, sniff. Go. Sniff it. Sniff it. Go smell it over there. No! Don't go to the wizard.
He's going somewhere else. I don't get it.
Here's a day in the life of the car wizard working on a Ferrari 355 one moment, and then somebody shows up in their Oldsmobile Cutlass Cialis. Finding wheel caps were going to be expensive, like $600 expensive, and the wheels would have cost about $400 to have refinished, and the snow tires obviously needed to go. So rather than spending $1,500 at least on all of this, I spent about the same amount upgrading to these 19-inch wheels from the higher trim Mulliner Bentley, and they came with like new tires. Those are some big brakes. Holy Moses. Whoa. So there's really just about as much good news as there is bad, and hopefully I'll be cruising in my Russian mobster mobile sooner than I thought, and for a lot less than expected. Fingers crossed. And if you think I should have a forensic team go thoroughly over this car with drug dogs before I drive it, hit that like button, and as always, thank you for watching. Dino, say thank you. Do you think this was owned by a Russian mobster? Tell me. You really? Do you think they did crimes in it? Really? Do you think someone was murdered inside? Tell me. No? Do you think they shoved somebody in the trunk and buried his body in the desert? Tell me. There you have it.